Let's take you to the Free State now, because the National Prosecuting Authority was back in the High Court in Bloemfontein to apply for leave to appeal its decision that declared Moroadi Cholota's extradition from the US unlawful. The NPA wants Cholota to face corruption charges related to the 255 million rand roof asbestos removal case. Just last Tuesday, the state hit a snag when the High Court found that the NPA did not have jurisdiction to apply for that extradition, and that should have been, in fact, the role of the Justice Department. Watching developments for us is our reporter, Kamogelo Siekwe, who joins us from inside court. And Kamogelo, there seems to have been some kind of adjournment. Take us through what's taken place so far.
Yes, indeed, Ayanda. We are now on adjournment until 3 p.m. this afternoon, when Judge Philip Lobsher will hand down his judgment in this matter. This morning, we heard from the NPA arguing about that shoot judgment that was handed down by the Supreme Court of Appeal, which essentially ordered that only the Minister of Justice in the country has the powers to apply for an extradition from another country. And you remember that in this case, it was actually the NPA that had applied for Moroadi Cholota's extradition from the USA. We heard from State Prosecutor Johan de Neysen this morning, just arguing his facts to that effect, saying that the shoot judgment was never part of the trial within a trial. It is not an issue that was raised by the respondent up until the state had completed or concluded its case. And they say to the judge that they found that to be really unfair, because then they couldn't have brought in state witnesses that would speak to the issue of the shoot judgment. We also heard from the respondent as well, who actually told the judge that the shoot judgment was part of the evidence that they brought to the court, and it was part of their emphasis to the fact that Moroadi Cholota's extradition from the US was actually unlawful. They're also arguing that for the state to say at the end that the shoot judgment is not an issue is really unfair. They're saying that even the fact that the state is saying that the state is appealing the shoot judgment is not true. So we heard, the back and forth between the state, particularly on the matter of the shoot judgment, because that was the basis of Judge Philip Lobsher's judgment when he found that Moroadi Cholota's extradition was unlawful. But I just want to bring at this point legal analyst Dikele Disena Khomo, just to help us understand the shoot judgment is something that both parties are raising, and the importance of it being that the judge himself, depended on the shoot judgment to come to the conclusion that Moroadi Cholota's extradition was wrong. Do you think that the judge is likely to change his decision based on what was said in court here this morning?
What happened here, that we have to put in our mind is that we need to check firstly what the discretion of the court is going to be. Remember, the discretion is on the judge to give the judgment, and there are requirements that has to be met in order to say they are granting the leave to appeal or not. Remember that the NPA has to bring one of the requirements or two of them, which is there must be a reasonable prospect of success for this appeal to be heard, or else they have to bring the compelling circumstances that brings the court to hear their appeal and make the appeal to be granted. Now they place themselves under the issue of that there was an error that was made in terms of the law, the error of law, while the defense is talking about is not the law, is not the error of the law, but it was the fact. In fact, that the shoot case, it was not exactly mentioned because it was they failed. The state failed to brought that in their application because it was not yet been placed or was not yet the judgment to be. If you heard that the judge has just established from the legal representative about the case that if he found that the state, the error is on law, would he be able, if he find in future that this was a mistake and it's not supposed to be there, would he in fact that deny the appeal? And our legal representative says yes, the case is stated the same thing, that it is his discretion to dismiss the appeal to happen. Only to find that the basics of this matter, not to confuse the facts here, the basics of this matter is that the judgment was made under the judgment of the minister, that the case was being held, that the only minister can give that or grant that the extradition. And also remember that there is a jurisdiction that was they were fighting about. So basically the judge is going to check the matters that are on the papers, not outside the papers. Remember, on the papers it was like the judgment, it says that only the minister can grant it, and this court of Free State High Court, it does not have a jurisdiction to hear the matters of Ms. Cholota.
Well, Ayanda, one of the main things also, that was said by the Moroadi Cholota's legal representative was the fact that there is no appeal in front of the Constitutional Court pertaining to the shoot judgment. And the state actually came back to say that there is an appeal that is in process, just denying the fact that, as it was put by the defense, that there is no process that the state is taking to appeal that judgment by the Supreme Court of Appeal. So we will, it will be interesting to see how the judge actually finds in this matter this afternoon when he comes back to the court. With that, it's back to you.
Right, Kamogelo Siekwe left to us there from inside the High Court in Bloemfontein. We'll certainly wait and see, but for now, thanks very much indeed.